I want to talk today about something that almost nobody talks about in business. It's that dreaded 3 p.m. shutdown. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm sure you know the moment. You've been on since early morning. You've responded to messages. You've made decisions. You've switched between various different tasks. You've probably done a school run. Maybe you're preparing for another. If you're like me, you might have mucked out a stable or three. You might have dealt with something completely unexpected. And then suddenly, around middle of the afternoon, your brain just stops. Says, that's it, I'm done, had enough. You're staring at the screen. You know there are multiple things that you should be doing. Maybe you need to be following up with a lead, posting something witty, drafting an email, planning the next day. But your words, they don't come. And that's usually, I think, where guilt creeps in. Things that, that little voice that sits on your shoulder and says, you should be more disciplined. Other people manage this. Why can't you? You might ask yourself why you're so bad at consistency. But let me say something clearly. If your brain shuts down at 3 p.m., it's not a motivational issue. It's a system issue. You see, you are not designed to be a decision machine for 10 straight hours, day in, day out. Every time you decide, what do I post? Who do I message? What do I say? What do I prioritize? You're spending cognitive energy. And women running businesses alongside real life are burning through that energy much, much faster than we might like to admit, even to ourselves. Because it's not just business decisions. It's dinner, it's laundry, it's kids, it's appointment, it's homework, it's remembering who needs what, packing on what day. And by the time you sit down to focus on your business, you've already run a virtual marathon. The problem is that most business advice assumes that you are operating in a lovely bubble, a bit of a vacuum where nothing else picks at your time. You wake up early, you block your time, you try to be disciplined. They tell you, just focus. But what if focus isn't the issue? What if the issue is that your business relies on you being mentally sharp all day long? Because I'm telling you, that is not sustainable. Let me give you a practical example. I like my examples. For a long time, lead gen was a 3 p.m. task for me, probably because I kept putting it off. It felt heavy. It required searching, assessing, evaluating, crafting a warm opening message, then tracking who I'd spoken to. And that for me was a high cognitive load task. Doing it at 3 p.m. is like trying to solve a maths equation after running around all day. And then we tell ourselves we're lazy because it feels hard. That's not the case. It feels hard because the structure is wrong. High load tasks should not rely on low energy windows. This is where calm systems that I talk about all the time really come into their own. So instead of asking, how can I be more disciplined at 3 p.m? Ask, what can I remove from my decision stack? What can be structured? What can be templated? What can be pre-decided? What can be automated? If your content relies on inspiration, you will stall. If your follow-up relies on your memory, you're going to forget. If your lead sourcing relies on manual searching, you're going to procrastinate. And that's the lawnmower. Not because you're incapable, but because it's heavy. And there's a difference between meaningful work and repetitive mental grind. Because meaningful work, that's the thing that lights you up, that you have a spring in your step when you're going into your office or your workspace to do that. But repetitive work is a grind and it drains you. The mistake most people make is to try to optimize the meaningful work first. Better branding, better graphics, better funnels, but they leave the mental leaks untouched. If every day you're asking yourself, who do I contact? Where do I find them? That leak is costing you more energy than any algorithm ever will. And when I shifted that piece structurally, not magically, structurally, so much changed in my world. It wasn't that I suddenly loved lead generation, still don't, doesn't float my boat. But it was that I stopped starting from zero every day. The list was there, the structure was there, the rhythm was there. And when rhythm replaces randomness, your brain relaxes, that panicking feeling goes away. That is the part I think no one explains. You see, your nervous system relaxes when things become predictable, and a relaxed nervous system means you're going to make better decisions on the things that really do matter. So if 3 p.m. feels like a wall, don't attack yourself. Look at your structures. What decisions are you repeating daily that could be decided just once? What manual tasks are you tolerating because that's just business, it's something I've just got to push through? What consistent expectations are unrealistically giving yourself in your real life? Because you were never meant to be on constantly, but your systems can be. If you want a starting point for thinking about this calmly without diving into complicated tech, then I've put together a very simple Calm AI quick start guide. It walks you through how to remove blank screen pressure and reduce repetitive decision load. It's not to make you work more, but to make you carry less. Because business should not feel like a marathon that doesn't have a finish line. And your 3 p.m. shutdown is not weakness, it's information. I will leave you with that thought, and I will see you again on Friday.